Have you ever wanted to time travel with your words? Well, today we're going to do just that. We're unlocking a special tense called the future perfect. Now, I know it sounds a little intimidating, but trust me, it's actually a really simple and powerful way to talk about things that will be finished in the future. Let's dive right in. So let's start with a bit of a brain teaser. How on earth do you talk about something that's already done, but in a future that hasn't even happened yet? It sounds like a paradox, right? A complete contradiction. But that's exactly the problem that the future perfect tense is here to solve. And here's the secret. The future perfect tense basically lets you hop in a verbal time machine, jump forward to a specific moment in the future, and then you look back at something that was just completed. So the action is finished, but you're looking at it from that future viewpoint. Think about it like this. All these future plans and accomplishments, they aren't real yet, right? They exist in our heads, in our imaginations, as predictions or goals we want to hit. This tense is what gives us the language to talk about those future wins, as if they're already in the bag. Here's a super simple example that everyone can relate to. Let's set our future deadline by this time next year. Now, if we stand at that point in the future and look back, it is an absolute fact that you will have become 1 year older. The event, getting older, is totally complete by that future deadline. So, how do you actually build this thing? Well, the formula is beautifully simple and it never changes. It's always these three little parts, in this exact order. You take will, you add have, and then you grab the past participle of your verb. Words like learned, left, or worked. That's it. Will, have, past participle. Simple as that. All right, let's put this into a situation we can all picture. Imagine you are frantically rushing to the airport. Your plane is scheduled to leave at 8 p.m. sharp, but, oh no, you're not going to make it until 8:15 p.m. So what's the situation when you finally burst through those airport doors? This timeline shows it perfectly. 8 p.m. is when the plane leaves. 8:15 p.m. is when you show up. So from your future arrival point, the moment you get to the airport, the plane's departure is already a finished event. It's in the past, relative to your arrival. And here is that whole scenario in one clean sentence. By the time we get to the airport, that's our future reference point, the plane will have already left. See the formula in action? We've got will plus have and the past participle of leave, which is, of course, left. Now let's zoom in, because there are a couple of really important details here. First, and this is a big one, look at the first part of the sentence, by the time we get. It's in the simple present tense, not we will get. That's a super common rule to remember. Second, that little word already isn't technically necessary, but it really adds that extra punch, emphasizing that, yep, the plane is 100% gone. If you're ever looking for a signal, a little clue that the future perfect tense is needed, the word by is your absolute best friend. In this context, by pretty much just means before. So when you say by 8 p.m., you really mean sometime before 8 p.m. It's the word that sets the deadline for your finished future action. And you should definitely keep an ear out for these phrases because they pop up all the time. Whenever you hear things like by the time or by this time next year or by 2033, it's a huge flag that the future perfect is probably just around the corner. They all set that future deadline we've been talking about. Okay, so this tense isn't just for quick events. It's fantastic for talking about things that stretch over a long period. So let's imagine a teacher. He started his career way back in 1988. And let's say today's date is March 13th, 2026. Now, this comparison is absolutely key. Standing here today in 2026, the teacher would use the present perfect. He'd say, I have worked as a teacher for 38 years, because that connects his past work all the way up to right now. But if he wants to project into the future to his 40-year anniversary in 2028, he has to switch. He'd say, in 2028, I will have worked as a teacher for 40 years. From that future date, his 40-year milestone is a completed achievement. We also use this all the time we're talking about goals. In this case, the goal is to save enough money. The deadline? Next year. We are predicting that the action of saving money will be totally finished by that future point in time. Or let's say you're on a long road trip. Maybe you're only 400 miles in right now, but you know the total journey is over 1,000 miles. You can say with total confidence, by the end of this trip, we will have traveled over 1,000 miles. You're stating a future fact. So let's bring this all back to you. I want you to think about your own life, your own goals. By the end of this year, what amazing project will you have finished? What new skill will you have learned? What incredible thing will you have accomplished? See, using the future perfect isn't just about grammar. It's about giving voice to your ambitions and making them feel like a future reality.